How are things?
Good, good, good. Glad to be here, man. Glad to be here.
So, welcome to our conversation series. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And Molson Coors, internationally recognized brand, recently ranked second in North America and consistently in the top 10 globally. It's been in the Caribbean for a while, but I think within recent times, there's been added interest in the Caribbean. Tell us a little bit about how you have been evolving the brand in the Caribbean and focus.
Well, Brevard, again, thanks for having me. It's really amazing to be a part of this. Molson Coors International, and by extension, Coors Light, the beer, has become part and parcel of the Trinidad culture over the last 5 years. More so, we see ourselves now at a juncture where we can expand into the Caribbean. In doing so, we've kind of been fueled by the fact that a lot of travel has been going on, the rise in social media, the fact that someone doesn't have to leave their couch to travel to somewhere in the world, so you can be there digitally and virtually. The rise of cable television over the last 10 to 15 years that has exposed the consumer in the Caribbean to a lot more brands than when you and I were growing up. Yeah. So we've actually seen an opportunity where we can bring to a more discerning palate to a consumer that is willing to try something new. And then we have the light beer being on the rise in the Caribbean as well. Consumers moving away from your full flavored, heavy mainstream brands that weigh you down and with a higher alcohol content, and now moving into light beer, which less alcohol, less filling, less calories for the weight conscious folks. And then the taste profile. I mean, we have our tagline as the world's most refreshing beer. And I defy anyone, I always defy anyone to give me a better thirst quencher beer on a hot day, a hot Trinidadian day. And we're having a lot of those these days than a Coors Light. So then we've realized now that this by extension, Trinidad being one of the hubs of the Caribbean, we've realized now that we can use Trinidad as a springboard, as a launching point to enter the wider Caribbean, and more so CARICOM, because we do have presence in St. Martin, in Turks and Caicos, in Cayman Islands. So we see now Southern Caribbean and to a lesser extent Eastern Caribbean, the Barbados and the Antiguas, that we want to get there because we've been getting the calls for it. Distributors call us on a weekly basis wanting to get the product on the island. So we want to be able to land it there at a price that is attractive and reachable to the consumer. And just have everybody enjoy the world's most refreshing beer.
Well, you mentioned something there, the sophistication of the Caribbean palate, right? And really, at the end of the day, I read recently a domestic volume report that actually showed, first of all, overall volume, alcohol volume dipping a bit, but there being a shift in categories toward rum.
Yes.
So how is a beer brand actually dealing with that type of shift and that dynamic in this market?
Well, to understand how we're going to deal with it, we need to understand why it's happening. And understanding why it's happening has been one of the debates of my job over the last few years. And what we've realized is that Trinidad, there are a number of macro factors that are impacting consumption and the gravitation towards spirits. But let's refine that into now less expensive spirits. The Trinidadian and Tobagonian want more bang for their buck. So whereas they go into a bar and they can buy a bottle of rum for X dollars, it's a lot less expensive than having to buy round after round after beer. We even see puncheoners now become even one of the more popular drinks because, again, the bang for the buck factor. So we see that as kind of driven the gravitation toward less expensive spirits. We also see, kind of going into what you mentioned, a decline in patronage at bars. Why is that happening? The big one in the room, crime. A lot of bars are not opening later because they're getting robbed. They're very, very discerning as to who they let into their bar because, again, these guys are up to no good. We see gambling as a rise, as taken away from consumption of alcohol. So a guy walks into a bar with $100, whereas he would spend all that $100 on alcohol. He's spending 70 on the machine trying to win back his money.
Yeah.
So we actually see gambling impacting alcohol consumption as well. And then last but and certainly not least, the breathalyzer. The breathalyzer has been long overdue in this country, and we see that now. And Molson Coors International, we applaud the efforts behind the breathalyzer being in the country, but it impacts our business. So people are not going to take a chance now. They're not going to slip in that extra one or two that they thought they could have gotten away with, because a hefty fine is waiting on you on the other side of that. Yeah. So a lot of these things are impacting overall consumption. The flip side of that is we see now the rise in off-premise consumption. What do I mean by that? The home tenement. Right. So people are staying home and drinking. They hang out in their neighborhoods. Right. You know, if I get a buzz, I can simply just walk home right after. Exactly. So we now have to understand, and I always use the analogy, if you want to fish, you have to go where the fish are. People are drinking at home, so we now have to come up with solutions and innovations that attract and prices that attract the home consumer. We also have to understand that people are not coming out to the bars. We have to give them reasons to come out to the bars. We understand that people are buying less. Let's do bundle pricing. Right. So we do 4 for $40. Get people to buy 4 beers, because beer at the end of the day is a social thing. So we have to engineer, and we have engineered solutions around all of those issues. But at the end of the day, it's a lot of macro factors that impact all business, not only all business, but business as a whole. So at the end of the day, like I said, we as an organization have to be very mindful and very cognizant of the fact that the landscape is changing. It has changed. And as you said, we need to evolve and adapt our plans for 2020 and beyond as to how do we capture that.
And you actually mentioned a very core marketing principle, right? If your target audience has evolved and they're more or less using certain channels, then you go to where they're spending their time.
Exactly.
And so, interestingly enough, how does Coors really look at, the marketing solutions for reaching your audience? And how do you think about that and consider that as part of your arsenal?
So we do a lot of segmentation research. And that being said, we realize that Coors is very popular in what we call the connect with friends and family space. As opposed to nights out on the town or, single drinks at home, very popular with the connect in friends and family. So we've tried to align ourselves now by working the off-premise channel, making pricing, making packaging that is attractive to the person that's going to go home, have a couple of friends over, the person that's going to get together, maybe watch an NBA game, have their friend, whoever has the biggest TV, you go by them and you watch a game. Yeah. So we decided that's how we try to appeal to those people. On the flip side of that, as I said, the bars, we give people reasons to come out to the bars. Right. So we say we do a little caravan, we get people out, give trinkets, reward people. Because what we've realized at Coors is that people not only want the world's most refreshing beer, but they want an experience. They want an emotional connection. They want an emotional connection with their brand. I could give you a beer, fine. Sure. But, they want that when they drink that beer, it conjures up a memory, an emotional experience. And we find a lot of brands kind of veering toward that path these days. That's how marketing is going, very experiential. So, and that's what we try to do. So we had our NBA promotion for a trip to Puerto Rico, where we took 6 people and they had a fantastic experience. And we streamed it and everybody was able to kind of live vicariously through them even if they weren't there. So as a brand, we continue to try and push the envelope and evolve to how do we get that emotional connection? How do we make people fall in love with us all over again? Every day, like 51st dates. We try to get them to fall in love with us every day. So that's what we're trying to do, and organizations such as yours that help us out along the way, we're very grateful for us to be able to bring that collaborative effort to make people fall in love with us.
Yeah, I think the key thing that you mentioned there, the experience, right? Because really that's what people remember.
Exactly.
Right? You give them an experience and that's what they live, to your point. They don't necessarily, or they can drink a beer, yes. But at the end of the day, if you give them a memorable experience, then that's what they remember. Exactly. And that's what they connect with your brand.
Exactly.
And I think what you also articulated was that, in addition to telling your own story, you're helping your audience, your consumers, live their moment and tell their story.
Exactly.
And I think that's fantastic.